To order on Wednesday, November 1st, 7:40 p.m. My apologies for the late start.
Councilwoman Selby,
Present.
Councilman Karakini,
Present.
Supervisor Keating,
Present.
Councilwoman Lukacek,
Not present.
Councilwoman Martin.
Not present.
Okay, thank you. And Councilman Karakini, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, folks, there's no opening prayer tonight, and there's no preliminary matters, so we'll move right along to item number 2, our regular business. The first item is the correction and adoption of the minutes from the October 18th, 2023 meeting. And Councilman Karakini, would you like to take that item?
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I've reviewed the minutes from our meeting dated October 18, 2023. I see no errors or omissions, and I make a motion that we approve them as written.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
I'm going to have to abstain. I didn't have time to review them.
okay. Councilman Karakini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
and motion failed.
Yeah.
It does, okay. I just going to explain. Yep, so folks, just so you know, so while Councilwoman Selby did abstain and the motion didn't pass under New York State law, minutes technically do not need to be approved. It's just a formality that kind of a history scenario that we do here, but we're all set there. All right, item number 2 tonight is under regular business is the consideration of all fund bills. And Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Supervisor. Upon reviewing the fund balance, I'd like to make a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $51,315.04 to be paid.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Karakini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
motion carried.
Okay, or moving along, our correspondence tonight, item 3 under our agenda. We have 10 items of correspondence. All have been received and filed in the town clerk's office. The first item are the dispatch call summary reports from August and September 2023 for the Boston EMS, Boston Fire Company, North Boston Fire Company, and Patchen Fire Company. Item 2 is the Erie County Department of Public Works, Division of Highways, Back Creek Road Reconstruction Slope Stabilization minutes from the Project Progress Meeting, number 8. Item 3 is the Erie County Department of Public Works, Division of Highways, Back Creek Road Reconstruction, Slope Stabilization, Conceptual Road Excavation and Replacement. And item 4 is the Erie County Department of Public Works, Division of Highways, Back Creek Road Reconstruction, Slope Stabilization, Slope Measurement Document. Items 3 and 4 are the 2 documents I was referring to at the last board meeting that would have that technical data that I said I had and wasn't able to make the board packet at the last meeting. Item 5 are the updates to the Civil Service Law, Section 63. Item number 6 is the Erie County Winter Storm Response Enhancements. For anyone that's interested, this is the response that Erie County has from last year's 2 snow events that we had in the county. Item 7 is the New York State Agriculture and Markets Review concerning the Town of Boston's zoning code and its application to Horseshoe Hill, which is in the Erie County Agricultural District, number 15. It's quite a lengthy document, but it's there. Item number 8 is a resignation letter from Lisa Ushholt to the Assistant of Code Enforcement. Item 9 is an application for use of meeting facility for a Cub Scouts Pack number 391. And item 10 is the Erie County Sewer District number 3, October 18th, 2023 draft meeting minutes. If you happen to want to know what's going on with if you happen to have sewer and you want to know what's going on, a lot of good information in that document. All right, moving right along, new business. First item under new business tonight are requests or comments from the floor. The floor is open. If there are any comments or requests, please come up to the microphone, state your name and address, and you have 3 minutes each. Floor is open.
Jay Jackson, 7964 Back Creek Road. Last meeting, I had mentioned that the manger scene has been covered with a tarp. We got a half dozen volunteers. Since then, a lot has happened. Much has grown. It's been funded, set up a GoFundMe page, and within 48 hours, we had $900. So anything that needed to be purchased has been purchased. Along those same lines, much of the roof has been already donated. We have Kirst Construction is actually going to install the roof. There's a group of us getting together on the 12th of November at noon to remove the shingles. We have been loaned a couple of roofing shovels to make that happen. I still got to try and get another couple of bodies down below to help get that stuff stored up into dumpsters. The Parks Department, one of the members of the Parks Department has a connection into Hamburg Overhead Door. It's an annual request. Don't just stick your manger in our yard. Come and ask us. And they have given us permission again. North Boston Garage has offered to pull the trailer down. As it turns out, when Kirst is going to be working on the trailer, they're going to bring it down to their own garage to do the work. They're coming down to pick up the material for the roof, which everything except the sheet goods is in the manger scene itself. Rucker Lumber has gone from at cost for the materials that we would be getting from them to donating them. Let's see, what else do we got? Roof purchase, mostly delivered, removal of the shingles, Kirst, Rucker, and Donor. Those are all the details for the manger scene. It's wonderful to see the community come together. Kirst's offer was completely unsolicited. Just out of the blue, the message appears, hey, Tim Kirst, we're ready to help with this stuff. I know that if I go and ask for a couple more people just to do the construction, it was tough to get the people together initially. I was a little disappointed with some of that because we had such a low turnout. However, this is now a very specific job. Well, this is what we need to do. The other thing that seems to be happening is it's gaining momentum. Okay, so we're going to put it up. Everybody's going to enjoy it. We're going to take it down. That's the other piece that will be needed, is volunteers to actually put the figures up, get the hay, straw, the pine boughs to cover the wheels. The Parks Department has done a wonderful job setting the thing up. Well, if we, the public, are going to try and do something like that, we will need help. But take it down afterwards, and then, well, the next thing is the roof leaks. It's going to need a floor. So we have funding for the floor. Did I mention the GoFundMe page? I think I did that first. Okay. It's gaining momentum. It's beginning to take off. So it will be nice. There was, I don't know, for those of you that follow Facebook, there was a lot of positive response to having that manger scene. It's a predominantly Christian town, so that everyone definitely appreciates that. That was the other piece. A group of women got together and washed the figures. The camel that pretty much didn't have a face now has a face. Some of that is going to roll forward in terms of repairs. There was concern about the price tag for replacement figures. Chances are, if we keep this moving, then the funding for it, okay, once a year, hey, let's replace something. It seems like the camel is going to be the first one. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there's no further comments. We'll close the floor. All right, moving right along, relatively short agenda this evening. Under new business, item number 2 is resolution 2023-83, which is adoption of the 2024 budget for the town. I'll take this item since we put together, we had some healthy discussion downstairs tonight, but I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution 2023-83, which is the adoption of the budget. On this resolution, which is out on, or will be on the town website, it is updated from what was originally submitted, because again, we had some conversation downstairs. There was a assessment change that affected the overall budget, and then also with the new, love them or hate them, the solid waste totes that we have in the community now. There's a proper enumeration of those, and so that changed a couple things. The town still remains under the 2% tax cap, so the change rate now was an amount of $1,422.36. But I'll read off the rest of the resolution. So whereas the officers, employees in charge of various administrative units in the government of the town of Boston have submitted estimates for revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year ending in December 31, 2024. And whereas the town of Boston's budget director has prepared a tentative budget and the town clerk has presented such budget to the town board. And whereas the town board has met and considered the preliminary budget for the year ending December 31st, 2024, and a public hearing was conducted on October 18th, 2023, as required by Section 108 of town law. Now therefore, be resolved that the preliminary budget, as changed, altered, and revised, and as hereinafter set forth, is hereby adopted as the annual budget for the town of Boston for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, for the town of Boston, New York. And again, all the amendments, just put a few changes on here, but again, this will be out on the town website for viewing. But I'd like to make a motion to approve the budget.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Harderini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, moving along, item 3 tonight is resolution 2023-84, our town's fund balance policy. Councilwoman Selby, would you like to take that item tonight?
Sure, thank you, Mr. Supervisor. I'd like to make a motion to approve resolution number 2023-84, whereas the fund balance of the town of Boston's general fund, highway fund, and special districts accumulates to provide stability and flexibility to respond to unexpected adversities and/or opportunities. We would like the town shall comply with the reporting requirements of General Municipal Law, Article 3, and the State of New York Government Accounting Standards, GASB number 54. The town board originally had a fund balance policy adopted September 4th, 2019, and we review and we'd like to approve this same fund balance policy. I'd like to make a motion to approve this.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Harderini,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, item number 4 is resolution 2023-85 for the Boston Volunteer Fire Company Youth Program. Councilman Harderini, would you like to take that item?
It is my honor. I'm going to read this in its entirety because I think it's important. I make a motion that we adopt resolution 2023-85, which is the Boston Volunteer Fire Company Youth Program. Whereas the town of Boston contracts with the Boston Volunteer Fire Company to provide fire protection services, whereas Boston Volunteer Fire Company has established a junior firefighter program whose participants are over 16 years of age and who are members of the fire company subject to the town board approval and entitled to coverage under the volunteer firefighter benefit law like other fire company members, but who are subject to special provisions of the fire company's bylaws and additional rules and regulations with restrictions and requirements intended to ensure junior firefighter safety and proper attention to academics. And whereas the Boston Volunteer Fire Company intends to further enhance the opportunities it offers for young people to learn about subjects including fire safety and the fire service by sponsoring a youth program pursuant to General Municipal Law Section 204-B, whose participants will be under the age of 16, with programming to run in parallel with the junior firefighter program to be called Juniors with Restrictions. And whereas Juniors with Restrictions participants will not be members of the fire company or entitled to coverage under the volunteer firefighter benefit law and will not participate in any emergency operation or hazard activity, will not respond to any emergency vehicles utilizing lights and sirens at the time of response, and will be subject to such other additional restrictions on the youth participants as are necessary to ensure their safety. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town of Boston, Town Board of the Town of Boston hereby acknowledges with appreciation and approves of the investment in youth in our community that is being made by the volunteers of the Boston Volunteer Fire Company through establishing, operating, and maintaining a youth program to provide participants with the opportunity to become familiar with the programs and operations of fire departments, to provide programs in community fire safety, fire prevention, and public fire prevention education, and to curtail false fire alarms by developing community-wide respect for the fire service. The motion is on the floor.
I will second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Karadikini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, that is it for our new business tonight. We have one item under our old business, which is a sports use of facility document that's been updated. And actually, Councilman Karadikini, would you like to take that? Put a lot of work in that.
I gave it back to Sean.
There you go. Go ahead.
Oh, you got it.
Yep, sorry.
Yeah, all right. Well, and get, what is our resolution on this? 2023-86?
We wouldn't even need a resolution. We could just do a formal motion to approve the document and to be adopted by the board and available in the town clerk's office.
Okay. In the interest of preserving local youth sports, we've changed the application for use of the sporting facility to be more efficient and more cost-effective for the organizations. And I'd like to make a motion that we approve this new document.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby?
Yes.
Councilman Karadikini?
Yes.
Supervisor Keating?
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, that is it for our old business. Moving on to reports and presentations. Councilwoman Sully, you have the floor.
All I have is I wanted to thank Jay again for the update on the major scene and all the wonderful volunteers on that. And it's great to see that moving forward, that we'll have a nice fresh major scene at the beginning of our town come this Christmas. So thanks so much, Jay, for the work on that. Appreciate that. I do not have anything else to report tonight, so.
Okay, thank you very much. Councilman Karadikini, you have the floor.
Thank you, Supervisor Keating. I have a couple things tonight. I'd also like to thank Jay for stepping up to the plate to organize the group of people. I know I started it. No, I didn't. All I did was ask for somebody to take the reins, and you were the first one that said yes, and I appreciate that. I appreciate all the local companies. This is why you support local companies in your community. You know, Kursk Construction, Rucker Lumber, you know, the various, you know, volunteers that come out to do this work. That's really what makes it. So wanted to definitely acknowledge Jay, and I know, you know, it can be spirited meetings and things like that, but it's fun. And like I told you that night, don't lose sight of over the goal, the end game. You got to keep your eye on that prize. So I would like to thank the Boston Volunteer Fire Company for, you know, organizing and enhancing their junior firefighter program. My understanding is the interest has been very strong. Sean, I really appreciate you taking the time late in the day today to knock that resolution out, because, you know, it's something we just didn't want to hold up. It's a great program, and like I said, I think there's a dozen kids that are already signed up for the program, and anything we can do to get these kids out, you know, working and off the screens, I think is a win in any community. And I'd like to thank Ellie for the hard work on the budget. You know, there's always a lot of back and forth. I know people that attend these public meetings sometimes, you know, hear a lot of us vote the same way, and they think, oh, it's, you know, you're just, you know, going rubber stamping a vote, and that's not at all the way the board conducts the business. I mean, there's a lot of spirited debate, and frankly, a lot of disagreement on, you know, various things. So, you know, I'd like to say that, you know, we don't get caught up in the procedure. You know, we try to focus on what the objective is, and that's running the town in the most efficient way we can. which is what we took an oath for. Aside from that, that's all I have tonight.
Thank you very much. Madam Clerk, you have the floor.
Okay, thank you Supervisor Keating. Leftover deer management permits are available as of today, November 1st. Reference the DEC website or come into my office for the updated DMP areas that are available. The town hall will be closed on Election Day, closed to business, I should say, November 7th. The voting will be in the community room though. And we're also closed on Friday, November 10th, for observance of Veterans Day. We do have a blood drive on that Tuesday, November 7th. So that will take place right here in the courtroom from 2 to 7. And the front doors will be locked because there's no business that is conducted that day. But the back doors will be open for voting and for the blood drive. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Just a couple of things. I don't really have too much to report. The comprehensive plan, there's been a lot of outreach to the schools, also to, I actually have a few people in your audience that sit on the comprehensive plan committee, but we've been doing outreach to the schools, which is Hamburg schools, Orchard Park schools, Eden schools, and also Springville schools. Those are the 4 school districts. When we reach out to the students, not only do we want to get kind of a feel of what they would like to see in the community, but also asking questions such as, okay, if you're a resident of the town, if you're going to be leaving the community, why? What could we do to do better? What amenities? I'm not saying that we're going to be bringing in some kind of microchip factory like what's going in Syracuse, but let's be realistic. So that's part of it. It'd be a great exposure for the students from the feedback we received so far through Clark Patterson Lee and some of the committee members. The schools are thrilled that we're even reaching out to them. So it's a great opportunity for us to get out there. We can actually explain a little bit about local government and our roles and responsibilities, as Councilman Carter-Keeney was saying, that we're public servants. We're here to work for the community. So that's the comprehensive plan. But again, if there's any agricultural entity in town, if there's a business in town, again, a resident in town that has not filled out or completed a survey, please give us that feedback. We want it. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's in the middle, we want that feedback because that all goes into that comprehensive plan. These theoretically should be done every roughly 10 to 15 years to kind of keep on pace with things that evolve and change. So that's our comprehensive plan update. Back Creek Road stabilization, I did bring it up. It's in the board packet. Those are the documents that are there. The last meeting that we had, we have not had another rescheduled meeting yet. But again, there's no secret that there are some struggles over there right now to the soil and how it's correct. And anyway, the plan, as it was left, is that there's going to be a binder coat put down for the winter months, especially now that we now have snow, so that plows could go through, school buses and motorists can go through. Then in the spring, they'll go back and revisit it, and as long as everything is where it needs to be, then they'll go through and properly pave that section. But they don't want to put in the guardrails and all the other work. So we're going to see, our community will see the Jersey barriers there for, unfortunately, a few more months. But that's the cautious and more reserved approach that I think is best for the community and also best for the project without having the county have to spend more money on that project. So that's the update on Back Creek Road stabilization project. I definitely want to thank Jay and Councilman Carter-Keeney for the manger scene, and that's definitely something that's needed some TLC for a while, and really the efforts from both of you and also everybody else in the community. We always, from time to time, one of us board members are saying, this is what makes Boston great. We all come together when there's identified need. As they say, all high tides raise all, or high tide raise all ships. We can get the job done. It's just a matter of the community coming together. So thank you very much for your efforts there. Trunk or treat, I've heard some feedback on trunk or treat. That was great. Hope to see that again next year. We'd like to thank the board on their feedback, and as Councilman Carter-Keeney did say, there's been some healthy conversation on this year's budget. We don't always when we come up here, a lot of things are kind of nailed down, so to speak. But we did have some healthy conversation, and that's what I've said this a couple times now, but I have no problem saying that that's what makes a good board, is that if we do debate, if we do have healthy conversation, that's what we're here for. We shouldn't all be just kind of nodding our heads saying, yeah, that's the way to do things. There's a difference of opinion, I respect that. So I'd like to thank my board members for that, especially publicly, because we do take these things to heart, and we do care about the community. So thank you both. Definitely appreciate it. Last but not least, there is still an assessment clerk position that's open here in the town. We're looking to fill that. the community will see that go out in the Buffalo News. That should be going out next week, I believe. Or is it this Friday?
November 5th and 7th,
This Friday.
yes, and it
Okay.
will also be in like the job finder section.
Yeah, so we are looking for an assessment clerk. It's a clerk position. Essentially, it's a part-time position. That posting will be out there. It's going to be out on the town website, social media, if it's not already there. I didn't check today, but that will be going out there. So if the community happens to know anyone, please steer them our direction. And that is all I have for tonight. So I make a motion to end the meeting at 8:05.
I'll second.
Councilwoman Selby,
Yes.
Councilman Curtis,
Yes.
Supervisor Keating.
Yes.
Motion carried, meeting adjourned.